Good morning or afternoon whenever you're watching this video. So I hope you take the time this morning to be gentle with yourself, compassionate, and just allow these movements of the Pawanmuktasana series of movements from the Bihar School of Yoga. Just allow these movements to create more of an awareness in your body. If you follow the flow of energy as they release the joints and any blocks of energy through the body. So paying more attention subtly to yourself, to physical sensation, and to the breath. So join me in this series here and we'll get started. Maybe coming to your comfortable seat. Before we start to move, just a bit of body awareness with mudra. You could also participate from a chair. Most of these movements you might be able to accommodate seated in a chair, especially the beginning part of this series. So we're just going to bring our hands into Kapota Mudra, which is a softly cupped hands, touching the fingertips together and creating almost like like holding, if you were holding like a baby bird in your hands. So it looks like this, really soft and gentle, and just holding it in front of your heart. So maybe close the eyes. Take several breaths or a number of breaths. We'll just sit with this for a moment, just following that gentle inhale and exhale through the nose. As you shift into your practice, just noticing what is present this morning. Allowing the body to settle as best you can. If there's any physical sensation that's dominating your awareness right now, bringing a moment of breath and attention there. And traveling downward through the body, letting an awareness settle into the lower body. Continuing to just allow a settling through the breath. Any thoughts and feelings that arise this morning and that are present there, just allowing them to be. And we'll go ahead and come down into a seated position on the floor. You could remove any bolster. Maybe coming, if you know your hips are somewhat tight, you might want to have a blanket and raise your hips a little higher. Have that available for yourself. And otherwise, we're going to come into our base position. Just stretch our legs out in front and support your body, slightly hinging back. You can kind of come back onto your hands and bring your attention down to your toes and your feet. I'm actually going to turn sideways for this. And as you do, we're just going to start to link our breath with some movement, just drawing our toes back and breathing in. Breathing out, just pressing your toes down. Starting to notice the ankles this morning. Just feeling the breath move with these subtle motions. Anything feels stuck or stiff in your ankles? Pulling your toes back and starting to circle outwards. Just welcoming in the body on this practice in very subtle ways, right? Just in a gentle and simple, content. See how that lands with you today. Sometimes those qualities are hard to come by. And then reverse your circles. Just take them in the opposite direction. Just kind of see how that feels. Good, nice, slow circles. And then we'll pause, right? Bringing the toes back and just kind of clench the toes, right? Toe bending. We'll bring the toes back. See if we can just kind of wiggle them forward and back a few times, maybe 5 or 6 times. So we can have blocks of energy in all of our joints. So this series helps us move the energy through our joints so we can embrace the life force throughout our entire body. And let's go ahead and just bring your right foot in, cross the ankle over the opposite leg. And we're just going to take a hold around the toes and just start to circle. So allowing the toes to bend and straighten as you do. Just explore. Good, and pausing here. We're going to take that same leg, bring it straight. We're going to reach behind the thigh. And inhale, kind of lift up through the lumbar spine. Find the length of your back. And you can lift the leg slightly off the floor. We're going to kind of extend, just noticing that right knee joint. And exhale the heel back. Bending and straightening, breathing in, reaching. And exhaling, heel towards the sitting bone. And then just kind of check out, how does that knee, the patella, track as you bend and straighten, and the link between our tibia and our femur, so the lower leg bone and the upper leg bone. It's the resistance here. Stiffness or tightness, just finding your range. And we'll pause and just kind of take your foot and draw a circle. Right? As if you could circle that knee joint, right? The lower leg bone draws a circle within the joint. Good. If there's pain or discomfort, make it a little smaller. How can we be more compassionate this morning? And then just slide that leg out. Coming back to our base position, nice and tall. And bringing in the left foot, and we'll cross it over, let the knee fall out to the side. And taking some circles of the ankle. So the hold, we can hold with that right hand. Just making that circle. Just notice if you're tense anywhere else in your body this morning. The neck or the face or the jaw. And then you might just close your eyes and just be with these subtle movements. Good. After that circle, we'll bring our hands behind the left knee and lift the leg just a little bit. And on your in-breath, just kind of extend, right? Right. Feel that leg lifting through the lower back. Exhale, bring the heel in. Inhale. Stretch it out. Take a look at your toes. Maybe smile at your knee. See what's here. It's the range of motion. When do we push into discomfort? Can we find an edge of between activity that is comfortable before we move into pain? Where's that fine edge? Pausing and maybe drawing a circle with the foot, right? Just circling that knee joint. Good. It's like a whole balancing act between both ends of those bones, the lower leg bone and the upper leg bone. Slide that leg out. And just pause, coming into your base position. Take a breath. Good. See how you feel, dear soul, this morning as we bring the bottoms of our feet together, coming into full butterfly. And you might breathe in, just bring the knees towards each other. And exhale, let the knees fall out to the side. Good. So checking in quietly, simple, content. You get a big reaction to those words, and we know, yeah, maybe that's something we could practice more of. Good. Just notice what you notice. Pause, and we'll slide that left leg out. We're just going to hold on to this right leg again. And you might lift it up and cradle the baby, it's called. Just do a little rocking motion. And then exploring a circle. So if you can hold the leg, see if you can take that leg in a circular motion around the hip joint. This is called the anti-rheumatic series or anti-arthritis series. Good. Stretch that leg out and pause. And find the quiet points. We'll come to cradle the baby on the other side. It's holding our leg like we're cradling a tender child. You can rock in and out. Or maybe you circle. Maybe close the eyes. Just feeling into the joint. Good. Getting an idea of our energy level. Do we push past? Do we give out more than we have? Are we balanced? And we'll pause and stretch that leg out. And come into your base position. Just rest and pause. And take a breath. We might bend the knees, come back to easy seated pose, Sukhasana. And just briefly here, just taking the tip of the nose and drawing a really small spiral to start. Gradually make your circle a little bit larger. As you do this, you might draw back into the heart and just notice is the heart of compassion here. Each circle a little bit larger. What muscles are working? Do we breathe through the neck area freely? Is there a free flow of energy or a sense of constriction? Do we speak our mind easily or too much? Let's come back to neutral and pause. And just linking your hands for a moment. And we'll just take some figure eights and just kind of sensing, feeling, noticing the wrists, hands, and fingers. Slowing down. Simple. Compassionate. Content. Maybe reverse your figure eights for a moment. It can be challenging for the brain. Good. Just let your hands rest. Pause and inward smile. And take a breath. Maybe let it out through the mouth if that feels good. And just one motion for the shoulders. Let's take our fingertips to the shoulders, elbows out to the sides, and draw some circles, some elbow circles. So we'll inhale up the front. Exhale up, open and back. Could close your eyes and just sense the energy in the shoulders. Is there any heat or tingling, lightness or ease? Or do they feel tight or resistant? No judging. You could reverse it and try the other way, see if that changes it. Good. Is there a flow or the fluid body in the shoulder capsules, or maybe we need to make this a little smaller? Good, and pause right here. Rest your hands. Take a breath. And let's come into our new base position. Nice wide legs sitting up tall. And again, if you need to be on a folded blanket, please do so, and just to bring more length to your lower back. So the energy release series of Pawanmuktasana. So I'm just going to take a stretch of the right arm up. And like you're pulling a rope down, make a fist. Keeping tall in your spine, just feel the shoulder blade land flatly on your back. And we're going to do that about 6 times. So reaching up, lengthening through the back. Breathing in, and then exhale, pull pull the rope down. So there's energy flattening our shoulder blade down. We feel our under the armpit kind of engaging, and then breathing and stretching under the armpit. And exhaling, closing the eyes, feeling the sense of connection to the right side ribs. Maybe one more. Good, and placing that hand on your lap and trying the other side. So the in-breath reaching, and exhale, pulling the rope down and the shoulder into place, activating that shoulder joint, but lifting, lengthening the back. Sitting on both sitting bones. So the hip bones are high and the pelvis is grounded. Let's try one more. Reach through the left side back and then pulling down, energizing under the arm and the shoulder blade. Good. Pause. Just relax and feel that energy in your shoulders. And take a breath. And clasping your hands. Let's take some churning motion. And again, the first option is hands on your thighs, and you can start to circle. And if your back is okay with it, go ahead and add the arms so we can stretch out a little further. Right? Take our circles around, breathing in, coming back. Breathing out, circling. Starting to really build a connection to energy in the pelvis and the pelvic organs here. Nice and slow so we connect to the breath. Maybe try the other direction. So we circle. Good, just feeling the fluidity. And if we need to, we make it a little smaller today, right? Just being compassionate. Maybe we're staying with a circle that's really small. We're up here, right? Just feeling the hip joints, the belly, the back. And then pause. Take a breath. Feel any sensation of tingling rising through the body from the movement. Good. We're here. Stretching the arms out, taking a dynamic twist. So breathing in. As you exhale, cross the right hand to the left foot and the other arm swings behind. So we're kind of squeezing that left waist, right? Bending forward and then coming back up. So inhale here, cross to the other side, exhale, inhale, exhale. Let's take this slowly with your breath today. Breathing in and breathing out. And pause and just rest the hands and take a breath. Good. See how you feel? Energizing the body, energy release series. We're going to bring our legs together and take some rowing. So this can stretch and lengthen the back muscles and relieve stiffness in the back and through the torso. And we start to really create a flow up the spine. So kind of, let your arms be like you're rowing a boat, but let the length forward really take your back into extension, and your belly is pulling inward. So it's supporting your back, right? So the bandhas are engaged. And as you breathe in, we're going to circle back, rowing. And exhale, reaching out, belly contracts. Inhale, rowing. Exhale, reaching. And maybe close your eyes. And just be with your flow. And taking it nice and slow. And on this last one, you might reach the fists forward. Maybe hold behind the calves or under the feet. And take a little more length in your back, right? And for some, you might start to straighten the legs a little more, maybe coming lower into Pawanmuktasana pose. Right, taking several breaths to be there in your forward bend and explore all the joints. See how they feel. Be reaching out. We're going to slowly come onto our back. Let's find those deep muscles of Uddiyana Bandha. So hugging between the hip bones, we're going to start to roll back. A little bit with each exhale. Connection to the legs really active here, supporting you. And then all the way onto your back. Nice full body stretch. Just pause and allow that inner smile just to come in. And we'll take the arms out to the sides. Good. Let's go ahead and bend the knees. And find your feet flat. Starting to explore the digestive series, where we bring a lot of emphasis into energy through the digestive system, reproductive system, and it also through our lower chakras, so our lower energy centers, where we feel that sense of home and safety and connection. So maybe close your eyes and just allow yourself to link your breath with your movement, starting to cycle just the right leg. As you breathe in, bring the knee in and stretch it up. Lowering as you're exhaling out. Inhale. Stretch the leg overhead. It's like a one-legged bicycle. And exhale, lowering. Not letting your breath get ahead of the movement so we stay connected. Staying with the pelvis unchanging, supporting the back, and just pause. Take a breath. Let your exhale connect you deeply with your core, and we're going to cycle the other leg. So breathing in, knee comes in, stretches up, lowering as you exhale. Simple. Maybe seeking a bit of contentment rather than push. Being in this moment rather than ahead of time or in the past. Pause with both legs. You could bring the feet to the floor and rest for a moment and take a breath. We're going to move to doing this with both legs today. So you could bring the palms just right under the hips, face down. Can be more supportive. We'll bring the knees in. And you'll just do this in a range that you can keep your pelvis level with the floor. So we don't want to arch the back a lot or strain the back. So we're going to bring both legs overhead and exhale, lowering both legs together. Inhale, bring both legs in. Stretch them up. Exhale to lower. Okay, continuing to connect with the abdominal wall. So we're not arching the back. We're using the Uddiyana Bandha, the belly lock, to support the legs as they lower. And then bending your knees and placing your feet flat and pause. Take a breath. Good. On your next breath in, taking the knee lock. So we'll bring the right knee into the chest. Inhale. And as you exhale, lift your chest, your shoulders, your head. Hug that knee in. And we might stay here for a breath. You could extend the left leg. And then lower back down as you exhale, but keep a hold of that right knee. Inhale. We're going to do this 3 times on this side. And exhale, lift and extend and press the belly to the floor. Hold for a breath. And release. Inhale. As you exhale, lift again, same side. Hold for a breath. And release. Stretching both legs out, arms overhead, inhaling. Other side, left knee comes in. Let's hold for a moment. Inhale here. As you exhale, lift your chest. Maybe the extended leg. Hold for a breath. And release. Keep hold of that left knee, breathing in. Lift and hold. Take a breath. And release. Last one. And release. Full body stretch. Inhale. This time as you exhale, both knees into the chest. Lift your chest, your shoulders, your head, and hug your knees in. We're just going to hold this for a moment. You'll feel that pressure in the belly. Contracting into a tight little ball. And release. Feet to floor, arms to the sides. Take a breath. Good. You might feel some heat or some movement of energy through the core. Let's bring both knees back in and just a little rocking and rolling. So just rolling over the back. And you can make this vigorous if you want, or just slow, whatever you're feeling like. Just keep that ball rolling. All right, so some you can stay with this roll. Others, if you want to try the forward and back roll, it's a little tight tuck of the belly and you got to get some momentum. So there's a little push and rock, contracting the belly. You can start up here if you want. It might be a little easier. Pull the navel to the spine and be careful of your back. So if you have any spinal issues, you might want to stay with the one on the floor. But we're going to just roll back and up. Just a couple times. Stay in your tight little ball. And pause. Good. Just pause and just feel that cross your legs, sit up tall. All right. Now we're going to come into standing, coming a little more into our energy release series by coming into yoga squat. Stepping wide, toes turned out. You're going to sink low, right? Find your base. So starting to energize a little more this morning, right? And bringing the hands to the heart. Good. So this is salutation pose. So we're going to breathe in, exhale all the way out. Reach your arms forward. So our belly's kind of hugging back towards our spine. And on the in breath, arms back, heart wide. Exhale, dive forward, hug the belly in. Inhale, arms wide. Exhale. So you could try this out. Continue with your breath. The other option would be to do this in a chair. So if you want a little more support, you could be here, right? So breathing in, stretching out, or breathing out here. Inhale, arms wide, and exhale, diving in. Feel how it energizes the heart chakra. Let's take one more of those. And pause. If you're standing, just coming to Tadasana. Close your eyes and maybe just sense, feel and notice. That stirs up quite a bit, doesn't it? All right. So our next energy release. So in our yoga squat, either seated or standing, we're going to bring our arms overhead. It's called chopping wood. So breathing in, we're going to reach up and exhale with the ha sound. Ha, ha, ha. Slicing down the front. Ha, 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 ha. Maybe try 2 more of those. Ha. Good. Just pause and come into a quiet place for a moment, standing, just feeling that release. Let's bring our hands back to Kapota Mudra for a moment. Returning to our gentle heart and compassion. Good. So we'll go ahead and step wide again, bend the knees. Or actually, let's turn our toes to warrior 2 on the right, extending the arms. Good. Coming into your nice strong warrior. You might take your archer arms, reaching, inhaling, and pulling your bow back. And hold, right? So you feel that pull back across the heart. 5 breaths. You can let the arms come down, straighten that right leg, and start to shift, triangle pose. Let's take a nice stretch. Slide that right hand to your body's depth, right? Shifting your shape into this new position, lengthening your spine. Good, maybe that left arm comes up. With the in-breath, we're extending our spine. And the exhale, belly slightly drawing in. Good, let's circle that top arm down and around, tap your back foot in. Staggered feet for pyramid pose. Inhale nice and tall. Good, hinging at your hips, reaching out, coming into that forward bend, your body's depth. Pause and hold 5 breaths. I'm going to be pretty quiet here, so you can just go in, listen to your breath. Soften your knee and come all the way up. And we'll turn back to mountain Tadasana. We'll step wide. Let's come into warrior two on the other side. And bend your knee. Coming into that earth energy of stability, strength, permanence. That unchanging part of yourself. You reach forward, pull your bow back, look over and into the distance. Take several breaths. Find the light behind your eyes, behind your gaze. Shifting your hips back, triangle pose. New shape for you. How does it feel? Pose continues inside as we adjust. Lengthen, strengthen, and be completely in the entire body. And circle that top arm down and around. Take a little hop forward. Pyramid. Good, tall, standing in front of the pyramids and reaching out. Lengthening spine. Folding in. 5 breaths. Noticing the breath. Be inside the breath. We'll soften our knees. And we're going to come down to the floor. So if you like, you could come into a down dog here if that feels accessible. We'll pause in down dog. You might even be doing that downward dog with your hands on the chair. That works too. 5 breaths. Gently releasing all the way down to the floor. Maybe coming into child's pose for 5 breaths. Walking those hands out to extended child's pose. We might take them over to the right. Maybe just see how that is, right? And take a breath. If this is uncomfortable, you could always reach for a pillow or a block. Place it under your forehead. And then shift to the other side. Maybe walk the hands over to the other side, reaching off your mat. Coming back to center, shifting around onto your back. Right, nice stretch out. Good, breathing in. And exhale, bend your knees and we'll take a spinal twist. So maybe pick your hips up and shift them to the right. And just let your knees drop over to the left. Simple and content, gentle and compassionate. Can we apply these qualities towards ourselves? Or is it difficult? Let's try the other side. Just picking up the hips, shift them left, and drop the knees to the right. 3 breaths. And you might shift your legs back to neutral and pause. It's a good time to come to Shavasana in a very gentle way. Maybe you use supportive structures under your legs. Maybe you elevate with a bolster. And maybe you bring your legs up on a chair. You could elevate that way. And for some, you'll want a thin pillow or blanket under your head. Let your arms relax, feet and your toes. Letting the earth support your back this morning and just allowing that the flow of energy through your body. So we worked in different movements and positions, and now just letting that natural healing energy flow through you, receiving. Where do you find warmth in your body? You just kind of expand the warmth as it through other parts. And notice where the breath flows really freely and open and spaciousness. Maybe it's just in your palms. Can you expand on areas that feel open and spacious? Salutogenesis tells us we can draw on the factors that create health and well-being. Resting deeply and completely. Namaste, dear ones. Have a lovely Shavasana.